As the grid becomes more complex, utilities are under pressure to automate their device management. Good device management has huge implications for the security of the grid. Let's talk about it.
This is Powering the Future, a podcast series brought to you by Smart Grid Forums. One planet, one power grid.
Joining us today is Ameen Hamdon, President of SUBNET Solutions. He's here to share insights on how regulation is driving the need for more robust device management across different regions. Hi, Ameen. Thank you so much for joining us today on the podcast. It's great to have you here.
Yes, Mandana, thank you. It's great to be able to participate in this podcast.
So, Ameen, before we get started on some of the questions I have for you, it would be great for our audience to know a bit more about your role and priorities at SUBNET at the moment.
So I'm the founder and president CEO of SUBNET. I started my career as a utility engineer, as a SCADA engineer quite some time ago. But for the last 20 plus years with SUBNET, we've been building solutions that help utilities originally with a lot of substation automation and integration products. But over the last 15, 20 years, our focus has grown and more core product offerings now focus on managing devices of all types. So from the cybersecurity and the automated device management of different devices. So it's really been that vision that really we've been working on and the team in helping deliver solutions that meet those requirements for utilities around the world.
Okay, great. So, Ameen, tell us a little bit about what's driving the urgency for device management right now. What's happening in the utility sector that requires better device management and automated device management?
Yeah, I think there's two. I mean, in the transmission side of the utility for TSOs, there's a lot of cybersecurity regulations and requirements that they need to achieve to ensure the cybersecurity of all of the critical cyber assets that are managing, the largest transmission lines and substations. There's obviously lots with 61850 and SAS substations where that configuration management and device management is key. And so the transmission side, it's really driven a lot from compliance and meeting those cybersecurity objectives and whatnot. But even more impactful is what we're seeing in the distribution space with the DNOs, with all of the grid modernization and in increased monitoring and control that's required to manage, these much more complicated grids with all of the renewables, wind and solar, and EVs, we've moved away from this one-way electric grid to this very dynamic grid, and managing that grid in real time has become much more complicated. Utilities are investing billions in deploying thousands and tens of thousands of connected devices, and the cybersecurity and the automated management of those devices has become a huge priority for DNOs as they deploy large amounts of ring main units, reclosers, cap A controls, voltage regulators, so that they have more real-time control over obviously feeder configuration and as well as voltage.
Right, okay. Can you give us an example of a real success story with a customer that's implemented some of your solutions? How did it transform their management? What sort of efficiencies, both technically and cost-wise, did they achieve?
Yeah, so one of the really exciting projects we've done for a large North American utility that had close to 15,000 reclosers deployed across one state was their ADMS system had a requirement to really understand very specific settings of those reclosers. So then when it was making FLISR, feeder audit, fault isolation, service restoration decisions in the ADMS, it was largely dependent on ensuring it had accurate data of these very specific settings within each of those reclosers. And in the past, the utility would have to, they did have a remote access solution where they could remotely connect to the device and personnel could check those settings, populate a spreadsheet, and have that information available. But when you have 14,000 devices and every device takes several minutes, that's person months worth of work. And then we were able to automate those jobs for them and complete the equivalent jobs in under 4 hours.
Right.
So now that they can reread those as often as they like, and have it set up where it only reads the devices that anyone is even connected with. So it ensures that the ADMS is always accurate with the exact current settings that are operating in all of those devices it's controlling.
And what's on the horizon, do you think? What are your predictions for device management and cybersecurity in the grid going forward?
Well, there's just a number of use cases that the device management feeds. A big one now, obviously, is managing the vulnerabilities and firmware updates of those devices. Mm-hmm. So all the utilities and all the vendors are publishing any vulnerabilities and CVEs that might be made that become present in their products. Utilities are getting all of this information. They struggle with understanding which of those vulnerabilities are critical. Mm-hmm. How do they manage those? Which ones require immediate action? And which ones even impact them? Is that vulnerability even affect any of the products that they have in their install base today? And so with the device management, they have a complete asset inventory of all their field devices, what the current firmware operating in all those field devices are, so they can quickly reconcile when they get a vulnerability, which ones even impact them at all, and then put in together a plan to manage those vulnerabilities. So on the transmission side, there'll be regulatory. A lot of regions have specific regulations that they need to have a plan to address vulnerabilities within a certain amount of days. In the DNO space, I think some of that regulation is going to come sooner rather than later, especially as we see the density of digital devices and connected devices managing the distribution grid grow exponentially. But they still want to be able to manage all of those devices and have an effective way to do it. And so the vulnerability management of all those connected devices is growing. But the ability to actually be able to successfully manage those, I think, is the key. And that's a big driver of utilities that we're working with.
Well, I'm pleased to say, that SUBNET will once again be a sponsor at SGT26 in Paris, which is taking place end of March next year. Delighted to have you on board again. And you'll be running a lunchtime workshop. Tell us a bit about the focus of that workshop, the subject matter and insights you'll be sharing, and what utilities can do to prepare to participate.
Yeah, I think it's going to cover a lot of, I think, where we're seeing the key cybersecurity challenges for all of those grid OT devices. That's really the focus, and for utilities is addressing those, again, with a specific focus for TSOs as well as for the DSOs and DNOs, what those challenges are, where we see utilities around the world seeing new regulations and new requirements, understanding where those standards are, but then as well being able to review and some of those case studies and other solutions that have been deployed around the world that help utilities address those needs. And that would be a mix of all types of network technologies for cybersecurity. The aspect of automated device management that SUBNET does is just one piece of a larger defense in depth approach. So integrating with the different IDS systems and network cybersecurity controls and firewalls and that larger cybersecurity solution and how all the security technologies fit together at the network layer, at the application layer, to actually deliver solutions for utilities that provide a high level of cybersecurity, but an automation that actually makes the management of their systems much more effective than it was before. So it's going to deliver solutions that help cyber secure all of their devices, but as well help them increase the capabilities and advancements of the automated systems that they're deploying.
Fantastic. Well, we'll look forward to the workshop at SGT 26. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ameen. It's been great talking to you. Thank you for your insights, and look forward to welcoming you and your team in March next year.
Yes, looking forward to it as well. Thank you, Mandana.
Join us again next week as we unpack another big topic shaping the future of the power grid. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smart Grid Forums, and to follow us on LinkedIn. Until then, thanks for watching and listening.
This is Powering the Future, a podcast series brought to you by Smart Grid Forums. One planet, one power grid.